this is how you play chess. And my father here needs a refresher, so learn along with him. So this is the board. This board is different. This board is different. So let's say here. So these are letters A to H, and these are ranks 1 to 8. So whenever I move my pawn over here, so for example, you have to say it. You have to say whenever you move a piece. For example, I move my pawn over here, and I must say pawn to A5. Now, I'm going to give you a clear example. This is the whole A area. This is the whole B area. C, D, E, F, G, and H. Now, this is the 1 area. This is the 2 area. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 squares. Without further ado, let's say how the pieces move. Pawns only move 1 square at a time. If it is their first time moving, you can either do a double step move. However, there is a catch. There is a rule called en passant. En passant. So let's say I move my piece over here, right? And I move my piece over here, right? I move my piece over here, and I move a double step right here. But white pieces is over here, black pieces is over here. How do I perform on passant?
It's very hard. No pieces that are there, so it's very hard, right?
It is very hard to perform. Let me just count. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. One of the white pawns is over here. I have my pawn over here. I'm going to take a double step. But en passant means the pawn has to move over here and immediately capture the piece. Although if it doesn't on the next turn, it loses the chance. And let's say one of these black pawns is over here. If a pawn managed to make it to the other side of the board, it can be promoted to as such: rooks, bishops, and queens.
Look at this one.
Tell you further ado.
That knight is ugly.
And only pawns cannot capture pieces in front of them. In fact, if a piece is in front of them, they are not able to move there. Okay. So let's say this is one of the black pawns over here, and this is one white pawn. So say it is now black turn, right? And since one of the white pawns is over here, I could easily jump over and capture that pawn. And once it captures, it is now moving in the new direction until it captures another piece, of course. Now, onto the valuables, aka the ones that are easy to lose. these are the valuables, aka if you're not careful, easy to get rid of. Alright, now let's start off with the castle guys. The castle guys always goes at the corners. It moves here, here, and here, and here. And basically performs a whole around square without doing it. Let's say my rook is over here, and let's say my rook is over here, and my pawn is over here, and white's pawn is over here. I could easily take that pawn and do it. That's basically it. There's no other way. Alright, knight. Knight. Oh wait, I forgot one more thing about rooks. You see, there is a rule called castling. It means that the king. So let's say this is the king right here, and this is the rook, and this is one rook over here. Let's say this is one king, and this is another rook. I could move 2 steps. Once I do that, I could move my rook over here, and now my rook is active, and my king is in a much more safer spot. Although this is what it means. Alright. It must be the king's first move, must be that rook's first move, and second of all, there have to be no pieces in behind. You can also do this with the other one, but I don't think it's safe to do on the other one because there's a queen here, which I will explain more about later. Alright. And the king must not be in check. I will explain that later. Anyways, time to move on to knights. Knights can move in an L shape, which I don't really know how to describe, considering that they move in a circle-like shape, or like an L shape. So, knights are the only pieces that can jump over pieces. No other piece is allowed to jump over pieces except the knights. Here's a quick tip. Castling is 2 moves in 1. Alright. That's basically it for the knights. And time for these little guys. These guys are called the bishops. They are placed right here. They are placed right here. Well, okay. They move diagonally. They move diagonally in any square, as long as that a piece is not in its path. Okay? And so let's say my pawn was over here and my bishop was over here. Just pretend this pawn is gone. Alright? And I could safely move my pawn over there. I mean bishop. And that's it. Kings are the most valuable piece. Why? If you lose them, you lose the game. Object of the game. By the way, this is too late actually, but object of the game is to kill the other person's king. Alright, now. Kings can move in any direction, and I mean any, but 1 square at a time. Queens can move like almost anywhere at any square. And that's basically it for chess. But there is one. If there is no way to win that game, it is called a draw. Or should I say stalemate. Stalemate happens when there is no way that a person could win. So let's say all the pieces are gone except for the kings. And that results in a draw. Okay? Stalemate. and go ahead and check out more of the tutorials if you like this one. Anyways, bye bye, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.